Hey guys, Beth here. I want to talk to you a little bit about dementia. And yes, I've got my weirdo glasses on, but I don't give a shit. Got new glasses coming soon. Anyway, I want to talk about dementia and how it affects families and how it affects you. Especially how it affects you if you ignore it. If you ignore it, you think, oh, whatever, I tell you what, I cherish one thing in my life when I was a cop. Wasn't being a cop. It was that I had the opportunity to go to my mom's house for lunch and dinner every single day. And she had this cute little thing. She had to have infusions because of her asthma. She had to have infusions, once a week. And she would call me and say, I got a new nurse coming. I said, okay. So I'd pull up behind, in front of my mom's house on 2606 South 7th Street. And I would run that lady's plate. And then I would go in the house. And when I come in the house, the lady would be like, oh my God, And Mom would say, that's my daughter. It's okay. And then over the scanner that my mom had consistently beside her, which I cherished that because she wanted to know every place I was, and I cherished that. Nobody else did that. Her mother did it. But anyway, I would run the plate for Mom, and then the nurse would say, the nurse would hear over the radio her name and address and license plate. And my mom got the biggest kick out of that. She really did. God, I miss my mom. I miss my mom and my dad. Okay, so anyway, let's Google some things. These are facts that you can find on your own. 10% people in the United States have dementia. Okay? How do you deal with that? I mean, listen, if you're seriously thinking about somebody in your family that has dementia, that you're going to put them in a nursing home, don't do that. Don't do that. Communicate with them. If they can't talk or they can't communicate with you, just simply, I go to nursing homes and people that don't have any family, there's a list of people when you go to a nursing home that don't have any family left. And I go in there and I just sit and hold their hand. They don't know me, I don't know them. I don't tell them who I am, but they don't tell me who they are. I'm telling you what, people, kindness is something you can never, ever fake. You can't fake kindness. Okay. What is the life expectancy of somebody with dementia, okay? On average, people with Alzheimer's disease live between 3 and 11 years after diagnosis. You see what I'm saying? Why not make those 3 to 11 years their best life ever? Don't put them in a nursing home. Oh my God. How many people say, oh God. Don't put your parents in a fucking nursing home. Don't put your grandparents in a nursing home. Though you came out of their womb. Do you understand what I'm saying? You came out of their womb. They didn't you. Okay. I'm telling you, I'm really upset about all this. In 2022, people lived an average of 1.4 to 4.1 years with dementia, depending on gender and health lifestyle factors. Okay? What is the underlying thing about dementia? Pain or discomfort. Okay? General pain, side effects from medications, lack of sleep. Okay? Side effects and some medication. Oh my God, I can preach about that all night long. You get off all that medication, and you're fine. You know, the big pharma give you, oh, you got to have this to get your COVID shot, get your, all that. I understand that. It's all government. Oh, God, don't get me started on that, okay? So anyway, we'll go back to... what is the average age to get dementia? 65. Okay, 65. What is the most common cause of death in dementia patients? Pneumonia caused by infection. See what I'm saying? Has nothing to do with dementia. Okay. And then we'll go down to what is the number one thing you can do to prevent dementia. Okay. There are 3 things you can do to reduce your own risk of developing dementia. These include keeping active, self-explanatory, eating healthy, self-explanatory, and exercising your mind. I'm telling you what, people, exercise your mind. If you constantly, let me take these old glasses off. If you constantly, just think of the little things you can do. If you constantly use your right hand to do the remote, just one day switch it over and try to use your left hand. Simple thing. You're never too old to learn new things. Don't give a shit about what people says about your age. I don't care what anybody says about your age. Age is a number, and you will live how society makes you think you should live. I don't, and I never will. I will wear sweats and Nikes and hoodies for the rest of my life. You will never catch me in polyester pants and the shoes and no. You will never catch me in that. And but anyway, another thing I want to talk about is responsibility about your actions. Responsibility about your actions, okay? A lot of people go back and forth and they're like, okay, I did this and you did that, right? Whatever, it don't matter. But I'll tell you one thing, there's a lot of shit about to come out on that. And yes, my eyes are squinty because I'm tired. I'm tired. Okay? I don't give a shit what you people think. Anyway, let me go through this notebook here. And we can go back and back and back and back and back. Anyway, let me talk to you about a little bit about foster care. Like I said I would. And I'm going to do it right now, okay? Foster care is a double-edged sword. And I truly believe that 45% of the people that want to adopt a child want to take care of them and give them a better life, right? But then you got the other people that adopt foster kids and for the money, right? Let me see, I got that lazy eye right here. So anyway, do you realize that these kids actually get ripped out of the home? And I've said this before in the video, and I'm saying it again. These kids get ripped out of the home, regardless of what situations, domestic violence or whatever. They get ripped out of the home. They go to a place they've never been before. They're sleeping in a bed with 20 other kids. And if they're lucky to have a whoopee or a teddy bear from their house, then they do. If they don't, they don't. They sleep in there. Every night somebody comes through with a flashlight to bed check everybody. This is your child. This is your child, okay? What are you people thinking? Okay? So not only do the children have to go through that, But then the parents also have a difficult relationship. So while the parents are, the man or the wife might be in jail or whatever, obviously, or they wouldn't take the kids, or something else, okay? But let me tell you something. If your kids are taken away from you, there's a reason, but there's also a little bit of manipulation in there at the CPS and at the upper level of that. So, I went in the house years ago, in the wintertime, and right across from the welfare office on 7th Street. And I went in there, and me and another officer, I went first, and we went up there, and they said the kids were being mistreated. So when we got in there, okay, there was 3 kids on a couch, and the back window was broken, and it was wintertime. They had no food. I checked the refrigerator. They had no food. So I asked the mother and the father, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? You got these 3 kids here. So anyway, you know what? Kids are totally different than adults. And once you realize that, kids absorb everything. Okay, so anyway, I went in there, and I had a camera, and I said, and they were sitting with a blanket on them that I had gave them, and in front of a window in the wintertime with the window busted out. Okay? And I said, let me take a picture. And they were like, happy. I took a picture. I've got it. They were happy. They were happy in a home that had no windows. They were happy in a home where it was domestic violence. And they were happy to see me. And I took care of those kids. I took care of those kids, got them out of that situation. But anyway, I'm just telling you a little bit about everything. A lot of my friends say, oh, let's go for a drive. And I understand that. I do. But whenever I go for a drive in Ironton, every single house I see, I remember what happened in that house, who killed who hung themselves, or who I remember everything. I don't want to drive around Ironton. I did it while I was a cop and drove around for 8 hours, 16 hours sometimes. Just drive around. Where were everybody else? At the station, watching porn. Oh my God, people. Let me tell you something. If you think that the police department is not corrupt, if you think that the Lawrence County Sheriff's Office is not corrupt, I'm telling you what, that's a problem. I'm telling you, when you got people that are dying in the jail, now we just had one example of that on video. You would have thought that one video, Mr. Kinsler, it went viral, but you would have thought that would have ended it. No, it didn't, did it? Why? Because the commissioners had control over that, and they ended it. Just like I told you, I'm going to mention some lady's name. Oh, no autopsy report. What happened to the people that died in the jail in the last 16 years, Wallace? Yes, I'm calling out you, Sheriff Wallace. Why is your office not upstairs like every other sheriff was? And why is it in Colgrove when your jail is in Ironton? You don't want to keep watch? You're good, because I'm not running for sheriff, because nobody allowed it. But I'll tell you what, I think that you maybe might have an idea about why people think about you the way they do. Let's talk about Tyler. What happened at Summit Prison? What happened? What happened? What happened when he came home and you did what you did and he called 911? Got the tape, honey. You did domestic violence on your own child. And you're the sheriff of fucking Lawrence County? Yes, I'm calling you out, Jeff Walls. What are you going to do to me? You can come arrest me for accusing you of something you already know you did? I don't think so. So let's move on to something else. Any questions you guys might have about anything? And let's talk about the Mooney case. Somebody asked me to talk about the Mooney case. Okay, here's the Mooney case. I was working, and Jimmy Sargent was chief, and he was dispatching. And dispatching, you can sit back, prop your feet up, and whatever. He was dispatching, and a family member from that individual came in and said, look, there's a problem. My brother took off with his kids and, in a U-Haul and all that. And this is nothing new to anybody. It's all public record. So anyway, he said, well, you got to wait 24 hours to file a missing persons report. Well, what the fuck? That's a child that's missing, right? So anyway, months later, the sister told us that he moved out with all U-Haul and all that. So anyway, months later, there was a guy that owned the house and was going to paint it and work on the gutters, and he pulled the ladder up there, and the ladder sunk, okay? And he smelled an odor, like death, okay? Once you smell that odor, you can't get it out of your system, okay? Okay, anyway. So he smelled an odor. Okay, but listen to this. 6 months prior to this event, excuse me, I was called to that Volgares house, 1740 Phillips, I believe. And I walked through the back gate with domestic violence call. And Jack was out back there. And I walked through the gate and I walked in there in the house. And I said, what's going on? He said, oh, nothing. We're fine. But I noticed the Rottweiler. And he had, excuse me, he had, I'm allergic to Morosi, and that's a problem. But anyway, he had a, excuse me, anyway, he had a thing about the dog. Okay, he had a Rottweiler. So when I walked back through there through the gate, there was a Rottweiler, and it had all kinds of burns on its back, and bumps on its back, and all kinds of toenails missing. Okay. So I said, what's wrong with your dog? And he said, oh, he's got cancer. So, I'm like, okay. Didn't think anything about it, right? So anyway, then this happens down there, and I ask the daughter, oldest daughter, I said, why was the dog in that situation? She said, excuse me. Yeah, I got that whole cough thing going on. And she said, he lost a leg on a motorcycle accident. So every time he got mad, he would take a pocket knife and cut the toenail off of the Rottweiler. Did you hear what I just said? Yeah, not good. Okay, so, anyway, when it all came to pass, what happened was, like I told you before, but I'm going to be in depth a little bit here, because it's public record. Nothing I'm saying to you is out of sorts. Okay, it's public record. So anyway, after I went there that day and seen the dog and the toenails cut off and everything, he had a motorcycle wreck. He had lost his leg, so every time he got mad, he would take a pocket knife and cut the toe off of a Rottweiler. So anyway, when this all happened with his daughter and Mona and his daughter, Selena Gamble, the guy was up there, like I said, on the ladder, and I smelled something. Okay, so we went down there, and that smell was death, and that smell was I can't tell you what that was like personally. Well, yeah, I can tell you what it was like personally. Anyway, they buried her in a garbage can. She was like this, with mud on the right side of her face. Okay, so the mud kept this side of her face moist and good. The left side of her face was a skeleton. Okay, we had sheets up and guards up so nobody else in the neighborhood could see, and then poured her out on a sheet out of the garbage can. Oh my God. You guys don't even realize. And you know what? After they buried her in the backyard, they had a cookout, 4th of July cookout. People walked on that very grave. They were drinking and carrying on. All because if they would have just called 911, like I said in an earlier video, if they would have just called 911 and said, look, help us bring the daughter out to the 911 thing, they would have never went inside. Just because you're growing weed, are you going to let your child die? Okay? So she was washing dishes. Okay? Evidently she didn't do them right. So he smacked her into the hallway. And yes, I know this because I was there. He smacked her into the hallway and her head hit the paneling. Okay? Then he went and put her in a cold bathtub to revive her. Well, she didn't revive. So he took her in there in the living room where I had sat that very 6 months ago talking about their situation, and handed her to Mona and said, I don't know what to do with her. And then they conspired together to bury her. And then they buried her and then buried the Rottweiler on top of her. Okay? I don't understand that. But I'm not telling you a lie. I'm telling you the truth. What I experienced as a cop on this call. So, I don't care what anybody fucking says about anything, I don't care. Because I was there. I know the truth. So, anyway, then, they fled to Oklahoma or wherever, and it was on America's Most Wanted, and that's when Jimmy Sargent got his big break. Yeah. I'm telling you what. How in the world can you bury a child in a trash can in your backyard and then have a fucking cookout and walk over top of that grave? That's some sick shit, man. That's some sick shit. So anyway, then I'll be talking about Thelma Mooney. I might talk about it right now. Thelma Mooney, older lady, lives down in Green Valley. Green Valley is Sedgwick Park. It's a swamp, relatively. Anyway, Thelma Mooney was a very well-known person here. Okay? And I told you this in another whole video, but I'll tell you again. Thelma Mooney was killed, strangled, and robbed in her own home down in Sedgwick Park. Okay? So, here's the deal. some people walking their dog the next day found a bloody glove. Sound like OJ, doesn't it? Anyway, so a lot of things happened. There was a girlfriend that parked on 2nd Street, and he got out, went in and did his business, and went back out there and left a bloody glove and some other shit. Idiot. Okay. Anyway, goes to shenanigans. Goes to shenanigans and throws darts right after. Tells his wife, his girlfriend, to wait in the car while he goes in shenanigans to throw darts. Okay? So she waits. And then he comes out and said, okay, it's been enough time. So anyway, we arrest them. Okay, just like I said earlier in the video. We arrest them. Thelma Mooney's grandson admitted to killing her. It's done. It's a done deal. They told me to take his girlfriend, in the other room and torture her. And I said, how? And they said, don't let her talk. Why wouldn't I let her talk? So the whole time they were in there, she was puking. I held her hair up in a ponytail while she was puking. And they didn't give her water. They told me I couldn't give her anything to eat or anything like that. Meanwhile, Jason was sitting up in the investigative room with his feet propped up, eating McDonald's and doing all kinds of things. And I told you, like before, I went to the door. I said, I got to tell you something. Don't bother us. I said, she's got to pee. Don't bother us. Okay? So I let her pee. I got in trouble for it, like I said before. But I'm telling you what. Thelma Mooney's grandson killed her. Okay? I don't care what backlash I get. He killed her, robbed her, and I'm telling you what, people, these lies and these, the whole corruption thing is about to be done, because you know what? I will die telling the truth. I'm not afraid to die. Let me tell you something about Bob Griffith. Everybody know Bob Griffith? The old taxi cab company. Do you know why? Remember the older gentleman that took his daughter to prom in a white tux, and it was so precious. You know why he got killed in that cab down by Desco? Because Bob Griffith had him killed. And the reason he did that was because the cab driver knew the shit that Bob Griffith was doing, and Bob Griffith hired somebody, paid him to do that. And I'm not afraid to say that. When are you people going to just stand up and say, you know what, this is what the fuck's going on? You know? I'm not afraid. Bob Griffith's dead. You know, rest in peace. Hot down there. But I'm telling you what, if you guys find in your heart ever to speak up and try to make a change, are you ever going to do that? I doubt it. Okay. Okay, let's talk about something else. I want to talk about oh my God. Charlene Ash. Charlene Ash. Now, the first week I was working, Captain Leach rode me around, and we seen Charlene Ash on 4th and Oak, and he said, man, be careful of her. I said, why? And he said, because she's got a wooden leg, and she carries a 380 in there, and she'll kill you. I was like, okay, right. So anyway, for the next 13 years, I would go in the jab or whatever, and Charlene be out there dancing. I mean, she could have been on AGT. She was out there dancing, having a great time, and now she would take her leg off and beat the shit out of you with it. But you know how she died? She was drunk over on the riverbank at Whistles or at the Fuzzy Duck, and a cab picked her up, and then all of a sudden she was laying on the tracks, got run over by a train. Oh my God. Are you people thinking about what I'm thinking? You know, let me tell you something about this overdose thing, okay? I'm going to get in depth about this. Let's talk about the overdoses. Okay, let's say that you don't like somebody, okay? You don't like somebody, but you act like you do, okay? So you say, hey, I'm going to come over and party with you. And then you give them fentanyl that you know is going to kill them, right? And then you leave, and the police come, and they're, accidental overdose. People murder people with fentanyl. You goofy fuckers. Don't you understand that? People murder people with fentanyl. If somebody says you're your friend and they tell you to take a drug, don't do it. Are you ignorant? Don't do it. Especially fentanyl. If somebody comes over and says, hey, how weak are you as an individual? How weak are you as an individual? Do not do it. But I'll tell you what, there's been over 86% of all the overdose deaths in Lawrence County that has been caused, they say, accidental overdose. I know how many accidental overdoses there were, and I know how many overdoses were chosen. So let me tell you something. Don't ever let anybody tell you that somebody in your family accidentally overdosed or accidentally drowned. Because you know what? You might forget it for a couple months and you'll be like, oh God, I can't do anything about it. You can do something about it. Just look at Skylar Corbin's mother, Peanut, Marilinda. You know, she's still trying to speak out about what happened to her son. Look at Sizemore. You know, still trying to speak out what happened to their son. Look at all the deaths in the county jail. Looking out for their family. Okay? I'm telling you what, people. Life is not all sunshine and rainbows. You know? It's not. It's not. Until you realize what's going on around you, everything. Put your head on a swivel and just, I'm telling you what, don't miss out on a thing. Every time you go to the store, put your head on a swivel and just, I know every single thing around me when I go out. I know every single thing behind me when I go out. I got body cam. I got dash cam, rear front. I'm not afraid. I just simply want the video. If they're too stupid and they come up here in front of my house on my cameras, what do you think they're going to do, right? So anyway, I talked about the Mooney case, and I'll talk more in depth about that, and the Volgares case, and several other cases. But you know what? I'm not here to hurt anybody. Jack's mother, think the world of her. She rides around in town on a bicycle. And can you imagine how hard that is for her to realize what everybody thinks about her? She had nothing to do with what her son made a decision to do. His mother did nothing. Okay, so she rode her bike around, and I would always say, hey, don't judge people, don't judge parents by what their children do. Okay, your children get involved in peer pressure. Okay, you can be working a 9-to-5 job, be a lawyer or a doctor or whatever. What are your kids doing in school? What are your kids doing in school? So what I'm saying is, don't judge parents by what their kids do. If you can't take time to take care of your kids, well, then you need to find somebody else to do it. You need to find somebody else to do it, because I tell you what, kids absorb everything. They're like a fucking sponge. They absorb everything. I tell you what, biased behavior in a parent is biased behavior in a child. Okay? If you constantly preach to your child about, Malcolm X, or JFK, or Biden, or Trump. Whatever you tell your kids to believe, they're going to believe. You understand what I'm saying? So when you're growing up and you're young, you don't have any desire, you don't have any functioning thing to think about your future or what's going to hold. If if your family is Democrat when you're born, and they're going to teach you to be a Democrat, you're going to be a Democrat, right? If your family is born and they're Republican, then you're going to be Republican. Make your own choice. I'm an independent. I choose the person, not the party. The party's a whole different thing. So anyway, I will get back to you soon. And I hope I answered the person who asked me about the case about the Mooney case. And I do want to tell you that, listen, it don't matter what you say or what you do to me. But let me tell you something. If you could just speak out without hesitation and without worrying about what people think about you, wouldn't that be wonderful? I mean, it's so freeing to just speak out about what you feel and what you think. Why do you let other people determine what you think? You want to fit in? You want to fit in? You want to fit in? Oh, yeah, I believe what you believe. No, I don't believe what you believe. And if you're out with some friends, or you think you're your friends, and they start talking about somebody that's your friend, and you sit there and say, okay, no. You want to sit in my circle and talk about somebody that's my friend, I'm going to say, hey, no. I'm going to tell them everything you just said about them, and that's my friend, and you don't do that. And then when you get up and leave the table, you're the topic of conversation. See what I'm saying? So people will be people. But you know what? If you can be true to yourself, if you can be true to yourself and who you are and what you think and what you believe, you got it. Beth Rist. I don't know how. God bless.